Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangles studio high on Sassafras Mountain. CDA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. This is O'Neill Outside. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Whoa, man, what a great day we've got coming up. No politics, no finances, no gossip, no football, no baseball, no nothing. No, it's the weekend. It's time for some outdoor activities, and O'Neill is here to help if I can. We've got a great show planned for you this morning. I hope I can remember to get all to it. We have a couple of minutes of self-promotion, then we'll start getting to your calls. It's my pleasure to invite you to go to o'neilloutside.com. There you will find some information about the new gun and reel oils that I recommend that you give it a try. Once you get those, you'll not go back to anything else. Number two, you can involve yourself in the Southern Grind guest book, and we'll get to that later in the program, just in a few minutes. And two more things at the site that will make your bell ring, so to speak. Involve yourself in it. Leave your questions at the Southern Grind guest book, and we'll get to them all when you can. Number two, then you can be sure and go to Hayes dealership there in Lawrenceville. Get your free hat, an O'Neill Outside hat. What else are we doing here? And, oh, boy, we're doing podcasts now. Yes, indeed. You can go to SoundCloud and in the next few days, iTunes, and you can listen to the podcast. And it's not O'Neill's interview with someone, no. It's just anywhere from 8 to 10 to 15 minutes visit with O'Neill. And if that has some appeal to you, some of the stories that places we've been, stories we've witnessed, and I can pass along those stories to you, and you enjoy them as you ride along and listen to the radio, then good, okay? And I hope you'll enjoy it. It's almost 9 after the hour. We've got to get out of here for the first break, but we've got the prize package coming up and the Medal of Honor tribute. And this is O'Neill, and we'll be back. Let me give you the telephone numbers if you'd like to join us on the program this morning, and so that you will know that you are listening to, or watching as the case might be, on Facebook. That is the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, and we invite your participation. If you'd like to do so, the telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and across the world at 800-972-8255, 800-972-8255. I'm looking to my right because I have to look at the calls as they come in. And so we've got the radio prize package coming up at the bottom of the hour. And first of all, now, one of the great websites that I go to frequently, besides my own, is the website for Realtree. And from the Realtree website, this is kind of funny, here are the 8 reasons why your wife doesn't care so much about your deer hunting. Why does she not like your involvement in deer hunting? Here are the 8 reasons. Number 1, you don't plan ahead long enough, and then always changes her plans. Honey, I'm going deer hunting tomorrow morning. Well, you didn't let me know. Number 2, you're not on time. You leave early or you leave late. It disrupts the household. Number 3, you don't clean up from the kill. If you take a deer, you bring home bloody clothes and a bloody truck, and you don't clean up. You don't pack away your gear. Don't leave it sitting out in the middle of the floor in the kitchen or somewhere else. Pack away your gear. And, well, let's see. The money that you spend deer hunting, the ladies don't like that. You change your plans often. A buddy may call, hey, man, or see you at the deer club in the morning. Well, I wasn't planning on being there. My wife and I were going to do something. No, you better come on down. We got a poker game midday. So you take too much time. When you leave, you don't come home on time. And then the last thing, you don't invite her to go. Those are the 8 reasons that your wife probably doesn't like your deer hunting. Now, before we get to something else, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. If you'll visit the website at o'neilloutside.com, right there on the home page, scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see the Southern Grind Guest Book. Now, the Southern Grind is the brand of knives designed and manufactured by Zach Brown. That's somebody you've heard of before. And the money that Zach makes doing this goes to veterans' causes and to his Southern Ground Children's Summer Camp. So when you purchase these marvelous knives, and these are knives that you'll keep forever and will to your children, money goes there, not to Zach Brown's pocket. But if you'll register there with your question at the Southern Grind Guest Book, if we use your question designated in the radio show, then Zach Brown will send you a knife. And if we use your question on the television show, then Zach Brown will send you one of his Jackal Black and Tan fixed blade knives. So we get a lot of questions there, and we invite your participation. Here are some of the questions, and I'll designate a winner for you today. The first question comes from Brian Griffin in Lyman, South Carolina. He says, I've watched your show for many years. My question is, have you ever been approached by a game warden while filming one of your shows? Yes, I have. Many years ago, I was on Lake Lanier for a striper. We were fishing for stripers, and the game warden showed up, and he asked for my license. And I couldn't find it. And obviously embarrassed, I scuffled around and finally found it buried in one of the slots in my billfold. So yes, I have been approached, and I was fully legal. Now, because of my age, I do not have to have a license in Georgia, but I do have deer tags and duck tags and migratory bird stamps and on and on and on. And I'm proud, and I still do purchase a license so that I can more fulfill my part in raising money for conservation. That's where your license funds goes. Here is the winner of the radio Southern Grind Guest Book comment or question for today, that being February the 16th. It's from Mitchell, and he's writing from Long Beach, Mississippi. He's asked, with spring fishing coming up and the water usually stained because of so much rain, which factor is more important for bass fishing, color or profile size? Well, good question, Mitchell, and it is the combination of those two things. In the early parts of the year, I will reduce the size of my crankbait, my spinnerbait, my plastic worm, my whatever. I will reduce that size, that profile that you asked about. Number 2, I will fish slower, did mention that, and I will use bright colors in those stained waters. So, after all the bait fish, the shad, the brim, the crappie, all of those are smaller. So I do reduce the size, I fish slower, and I use bright colors in the stained water. So Mitchell in Long Beach, Mississippi, will be receiving, we'll be in touch with him, we'll go to his email address, and we'll get his mailing address and send him the knife. Here's one from Jim White, I believe it's the way it's pronounced, in Casita, Georgia. I hunted this year for the first time from a shooting house, and that contained a small propane heater. What effect does the heater have in emitting a scent? Well, I'm afraid you fouled up, pal. You want to remove all scents. your hands, your clothes, spray inside the shooting house itself, especially if you don't know who's been there the previous week. Change your clothes in the house. But use a propane heater? No, sir. Absolutely not. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. It's 19 after the hour. Here's a question from Leonard Rudnicki. Leonard Rudnicki. Sorry, I'm having a problem with that. Love watching your show. Here's what makes your signature oils and solvents better than other brands? A little self-promotion here at 19 after the hour. Number one, my lube oils and real oils, lubes, and they're made from green energy. They're made from plants. It's not petroleum-based. So the features are they last 5 times longer. They're not electrostatic. They don't collect dust. Okay? They penetrate the small spaces of the reels and guns better. And those are enough, aren't they? Penetrate small places better. It's made from green energy. It doesn't collect dust, and it lasts longer, and they do indeed work. If you'll give those oils and lubes a try, and you can go to O'NeillOutside.com, purchase them right there on the internet. They're inexpensive. I believe you'll throw the other ones away. Give it a try. It'll work for you. That's about it right now for the questions from the Southern Grind guest book. We'll get to more of those later. At the bottom of the hour, we will have the radio prize package. Let's see what else I have to do for you this morning. Now, I'd love to hear from you today at at 800 WSB Talk or 972-8255 or 404-872-0750. Tell me about your first trip. I have my first trips planned, and you should have your first trips planned for the springtime. You don't plan it, you won't do it. And I would suggest it be with a child, a son, grandson, or something of that nature. Take a kid. 25 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside. Our first caller this morning, before I get to some continuing questions, our first caller is Steve, and is calling, I believe, from Cartersville. Good morning, Steve. You're on O'Neill Outside. We're listening. Good weekend coming up. Okay, good. Nice to have a job.
Yeah. I got a question. I got a food plot that's got white clover in it and red clover. What else should I put in there for my food plot for my deer? I mean,
okay.
It does well in the wintertime, but it doesn't do well in the summer.
Right. Okay. Let me direct you. Let me direct you to someone that's much better than I am at this, and will give you several options for you to choose from and make the proper recommendations. If you will telephone the Whitetail Institute. Now, they were the people who came out with the food plot seeds first, and they are the largest in the world. And if you can write down the telephone number or look them up, the Whitetail Institute, they're in Pensacola, Alabama. And a real live person will answer the phone, and you tell them what you want to accomplish. And they will tell you everything you need to do and give you several options for you to choose from. They are experts at it, and they supply seeds, food plot forage seeds, and recommendations to all over the world. And they've come up with several plants and so forth in food plot foliage that blend in so that you'll always have something growing. That's what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, the summer months it seems to back off a lot. I got white clover in there, and they told me, well, my feed store there at Ladd's told me red clover will grow good in the summer, but it doesn't seem to grow good in that area because it's kind of dry.
Right. I understand, and that's always a problem. But you telephone the Whitetail Institute. If you can write it down, the telephone number is 800-688-3030. And I will tell you that it will be a very, very productive call that you will make. And
Well,
you'll
it's
have
done
lots
well
of options.
It's done well for the last 3 years, you know, as far as in deer season.
Uh-huh.
And I've taken well, he started out when he was 5, my grandson, and he's averaged 3 deer a year from it.
Good for you.
Grandson. Well,
Good
he's
for you.
10 now, and he's by himself out there. Of course, I ain't far from him, but I mean, he hunts right beside him. Because I have a tripod stand for him,
Right.
and he hunts with a 243.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you got it figured out. I hope that the people, I'm confident that the people at the Whitetail Institute will be able to work that out for you and give you some very excellent advice. You already are well on your way, but the Whitetail Institute will help you.
Actually, that's a Pennington Feed Company, I think, isn't it?
That's what? Say again, please.
I'm sorry, the Pennington Feed Company? Or Seed Company?
Yes. They are a company that supplies seeds and advice and fertilizer and lime and all over the country. And you being able to tell them where you live, and they will be familiar with the soil area, the soil mixture where you live, and they'll be able to give you some good advice. And you can order from them directly on the telephone.
Yeah, that's where I had got my white clover from.
Oh yeah, there you are. That's good. I have a friend who has a place over in East Georgia in Oglethorpe County, and the food plot he put in with the whitetail clover, it's been there for 6 years.
And mine's been there 5, and I reseeded it this year. They told me 5 years that it needed to be reseeded.
Okay, fantastic. What a great company, what a great product. Isn't that good?
Oh, yeah, it has been. I mean, I love it for my grandson. I got 3 more grandsons coming along, and as one passes and he grows into a stand, the other one's going to be moving into the hunting hut down there for him.
Well, you're doing all the right things, Steve. You're doing the right things, and they will appreciate you forevermore for that. The outdoor lifestyle lasts forever. Thanks for calling, my good friend.
You too. Thank you.
You bet. See you soon. There we go. And let me drop that. There we are. It's 31 after the hour. This is O'Neill at 800-972-8255 or 404-872-0750. Let me refresh my dials there. I have to do that from time to time. Here's one of the other Southern Grind questions that I thought was really good. Chad Crow. Okay. Chad Crow writes on the Southern Grind guest book, and he says, we have a family of deer on our property. There's a 6-pointer and an 8-pointer among them. We've watched them grow. What do you suggest we do to keep them around? Well, referencing the call we just got, if you have they something for them to eat. Let's face it, at 32 after the hour, white-tailed deer are pretty lazy critters. I mean, what do you think they do other than the 2 weeks for the first or the second rut during the year, in which the bucks kind of stay up and 24 hours a day for the breeding season? What does the white-tailed deer do? Nothing. He eats and he sleeps a lot, and he keeps himself aware of his surroundings. He's good at staying alive. But what else does he do? He doesn't listen to music. He doesn't build anything. He doesn't have a job. So if you give him something to eat, then he'll stick around. something to eat and some place for him to rest and sleep, because he sleeps an awful lot in little bitty periods of time. And it's interesting, too, that according to QDMA, Quality Deer Management Association, the things I learned there, the white-tailed deer quite often sleeps with his eyes open and ears already up and alert. Can you sneak up on a whitetail? No, you can't. You may think you can, but you can't. He knows you're there, and he's probably just waiting for you to walk by. No, you cannot sneak up on a whitetail. So, you give him something to eat. Now, the other thing, too, would be to do what you can to keep the predators away, the coyotes, the hogs, and things like that, and other people. But white-tailed deer can almost become pets. I know there's a lake east of Atlanta, Lake Oconee, and some of the upscale neighborhoods there have too many deer. They eat the flowers, they eat the shrubs, and from time to time they have to have people come in and take them out. So if you feed him, he'll stick around. Let's see if there's another question here. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, 35 after the hour. Let's see. Mickey Tucker writes from Hayhira. Isn't that a great name? Hayhira, Georgia. Please have more crappie fishing on your show. I'm going to go crappie fishing next week. The mistake people make in crappie fishing, to me, is they don't start early enough. You start fishing for crappie when it's cold. When it's really cold, the crappie will get under the deep docks, and gigantic schools of crappie on major reservoirs under the docks where there's some brush and the standing trees. And like right now at Lake Lanier and lakes all over Georgia in the south, they're catchable by the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Start in February, full moon in February, and you can catch them like mad. I don't fish as much as I used to, but I used to go to Lake Lanier and fish under the docks in December and January and early February and catch them by the 5-gallon buckets full. They're there for the taking. In March, they migrate in these big schools into the coves for spawn. Then you can catch them at 2 and 3 and 4 feet deep. Right now, you catch them at 40 feet deep. And we'll get to some more questions as we do so. Telephone numbers are 404-872-0750. Woman Williams will join us in the second hour of the program. And we'll hear from a lot of folks. I imagine we'll hear from Milton Crabapple. We'll hear from Captain Mac Farr and probably Hank the Yank and some of our regular callers. Turkey season's coming up. Fishing's getting better and better every day. And O'Neill and my callers are here to help when we can. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 on the SB Nation. Nationwide, 155 stations, and WSB radio covering 38 states. This is O'Neill, and I'll be back. Here's the highlight of the first hour of O'Neill Outside every Saturday, without a doubt. Let's chat now with our old buddy Milton Crabapple. Good morning, Milton. Hey, what do you say? Yeah, yes, sir. I'm doing fine this morning. How's Milton? Have you got some fishing trips planned, some turkey hunting coming up?
Well, it'll be coming up soon, won't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's right around the corner.
It's real cold.
Yeah. You bet. Hey, let me ask you a question before we get to maybe the subject of your call. When you turkey hunt, what do you use for your rifle, your shotgun? What do you use?
Well, I use a L.C. Smith double-barrel shotgun.
Okay.
Sometimes I use a long mountain rifle, Southern mountain rifle, flintlock patched with a round ball.
Oh,
Patched with fillet chicken.
that's great. I thought you
You know, it
probably
just
still
depends.
use that.
My eyes ain't as good as they used to be.
I understand. I can identify with that.
But anyhow, I like that turkey hunting.
Oh man, yeah, the eastern wild turkey. That's the number one big game animal in North America. The only trouble is he'll
Make a
he'll
fool out of you too.
yeah, he'll hurt your feelings, won't he?
He sure will.
Yeah. I'm glad you called this morning, Milton. I want to let's double up here while you're on the line, and let's have the radio prize package, and I'll let you ask the question.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Well, let me tell everybody what's in the radio prize package first. You hold on. We have a Bojangles gift card, a Whitetail Institute DVD about producing trophy whitetails, Swaggerty's Farm coupon, DNR Rigs magazine, a Game Check wallet, a Real Tree hat and decal combo, the Angler magazine, 2 cans of Fisher's Choice baits, 2 packs of Bug Band wipes, a Thunder Chicken casting float from Mark Noble, a Thorogood hat, a pair of Wigwam socks, and a True Turn hat. Wow, it's quite a prize package. And a Arctic Ice freezer pack so that you don't have to buy ice. So it's a big radio prize package. And the first caller, first of all, the rules are that you have to be 18 and you not have won a prize package before. Are you all set, Milton?
Well, I reckon I am, but I was going to ask you, how come you didn't have no dudes number 1 or dudes number 2 in that prize package?
I've just avoided that. But I hope that's okay.
Well, it's
So-
okay with me.
All right. So why don't you come up with a question? Ask a question for the audience so that they can answer and somebody can win the prize package.
Well, I'll make it easy.
Okay.
I'll make it easy for them.
All right.
What's my deputy's name?
Oh, as the sheriff of Crabapple, what is your deputy's name? And I know you've mentioned his name many times.
Well, he's my third cousin, too.
Oh, is he? All right. Well, you got a lot of cousins there in Crabapple. All right. The telephone numbers for the radio prize package, and there's the question. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. The question is, Milton Crabapple's deputy as sheriff of Crabapple, Georgia. Is that right, Milton?
That's true.
And
You
your
know,
third.
he's in a lot of trouble, too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he forgot about Valentine's
Oh boy.
Day. He was supposed to have a dinner with his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
I reckon he forgot about it. He didn't come home till midnight, he said, and I'm telling you, she was mad as a hornet.
Oh boy.
He told her he'd been out at a bar with, he was in that fraternity at Crabapple Junior College years ago.
Oh, he
He
was?
said he met with 10 of his fraternity brothers, and they was up at the bar, and he just forgot what time it was.
Oh man, that's just not a
Yeah,
good.
she didn't believe him, so she called all 10 of them. Yes, sir.
Oh.
She sure did, and 8 of them said yes, he had been up there with them.
Okay.
Sure. The other 2 swore he was still up there.
Oh. Well, dude
sir.
fouled up, didn't he?
They stick together, them fraternity brothers.
I bet they do. I'll bet they
Yes,
do. That's
sir.
at the Crabapple Junior College.
Yes, sir. Crabapple Consolidated Junior College. He
I see.
graduated. I don't know what year it was, but anyhow,
Okay. Well.
they get together from time to time. You know how them fraternity brothers are.
Oh yeah. I have firsthand knowledge of some of that. Yes.
Yes, sir. Well, anyhow, just wanted to touch in with you this morning.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Milton. I appreciate you providing the question for us. I don't have any answers coming up on the screen right now. Do I have some, Corey? I'm talking to my engineer.
Yes, we have a winner. Hold on one second.
All right, we
Call
have
back in, I
all
know
right.
the answer.
We have a winner already, everybody. So, and I'll get to that winner in a few minutes. And Milton, thanks for calling, sir. It's always a pleasure.
Sure. Stop by the jail. We finished that checker game.
All right, I will do that. I will do that soon, my good friend. And I will see you soon. There goes Milton. He always takes time to call. It's 46 after the hour, and if I can make this thing work here, then I'll get to the answer. In the meantime, before we scoop that up, there's the answer right there. But let's talk now to Alan calling, I believe, from Tallahassee. Good morning, Alan. This is O'Neill, and it's 46 after the hour. Welcome. Oh, yeah, I'm not clicking on everything correctly here. How about that? How'd I do? I've got Alan from Tallahassee now, don't I?
Yeah, how you doing this morning?
Good, man.
Hey, gonna let you know, crappie are starting to bite real good down here in North Florida.
Oh boy.
Like you said, our red buds are already starting to bloom real good, and the tulip trees are blooming. So the crappie fishing has been good so far.
Are they shallow already?
Well, I've been catching them. I've been fishing edges where it starts out 2 foot at the bank and drops off into, well, here, 15 foot of water is deep water
right.
for these prairie lakes, So, but they're they could be right now stationed anywhere from 5 all the way down to the bottom,
Yeah. So, well, you've got some of them that are shallow, so they're starting the bedding process.
Oh yeah, we're about, I'd say, 3 to 4 weeks ahead of what would be up at Lanier.
Right. You betcha. Now in Florida, do some people call crappie specks in Florida?
Oh yeah, it's like Louisiana. They got about 7 names for them.
That's right.
So the reason I was calling, I had to go take my hunter's safety course because I get my carry permit. And after the classroom work, they took us out back, and you was just asking Milton about what he used to turkey hunt with. And they let us, shoot all kinds of different guns. And I could run up on a Remington 870 with a pistol grip, O'Neill, and a shotgun, and it was so much easier to shoot instead of having to put your arm over the stock, and put it out there like a wing. You can lock it. There's hardly any kickback, hardly on that gun.
How about that? Well, we'll have to keep that in mind. Maybe when I'll go to the Governor's Gun Club. I bet they've got one over there for me to shoot and give it a try.
I mean, it was just like shooting a .45,
How about that? Well, interesting. I appreciate you mentioning that.
And then, the guy that was there with us, I was telling him, about, shoulder and all that. He says that people will start right now and take like a 3-pound weight, when they're sitting around watching TV or doing something, and start exercising that shoulder, like put your arm out with that weight and lift it up and down from your knee up to above your head, and then put it out in front of you and, from your waist above your head, and build that muscle up just a little bit, to toughen up that shoulder. He says a lot of people won't have that problem with, kick, because, your shoulder, there's nothing really there,
Sure.
Because you don't do nothing to exercise it.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a good call. Good call.
He says by doing that, it'll help build that muscle a little bit. So when that recoil comes, it won't. Most people, it kicks the fire out of them.
Right.
If you're not ready for it.
Well, that's a good recommendation. That's a good recommendation and a nice tip about that. Alan, I appreciate you calling and appreciate you listening to the show.
I got on to Jason about not playing enough Merle Haggard anymore, but he said, with this new sponsor, you got to play a little more of that.
Yeah, well, we'll have Merle too. Maybe we can rustle up. Let's see. What's my favorite? If we can make it through December.
That's it.
That's the one. We'll do that in the second hour. Keep listening, my good friend. Thank you so much. And here's the winner of the radio prize package. And Tim is the winner of the radio prize package. Let's get to Tim right now before I go to the break. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, O'Neill.
Okay. Glad we had Milton involved. What is Milton Crabapple's deputy's name?
Dude. D-U-D-E, Deputy Dude.
Yeah, Dude. How about that? And it's his third cousin, too.
Yep.
I'm glad you called, sir. It was worthwhile this morning, right?
Well, I'm glad I had something useful between my ears.
There you go. Well, do we have all your mailing information? We'll send it to you in a couple of weeks.
Great, sir. Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate your participation in the program. And
Have a great day, sir.
there we go right there. I'm operating this thing correctly, I think, this morning. Woman Williams is here. Good morning.
Hi there. How are you?
Yeah, good. Well, what do you got going on? Anything on Facebook?
I just got here.
Okay, well, there you are. Let's take, because he's already called, Ken is calling from Lithia Springs. We got to get to him before the next break. Good morning, Ken.
How you doing, Miss O'Neill? For a long time listener. I hadn't never called, but I'm daggone sure listen to you.
Well, I sure appreciate that. That's quite a compliment, and I thank you.
Anyway, I called. I'm 68 years old, and I fished all over South Alabama and Georgia mainly.
Uh-huh.
And we got to fishing with these lures out here at Lake. Lithia Springs, you got a lake everywhere. and Mr. O'Neill, I'm talking about 3.5 pound crappie.
Oh my goodness!
And a couple of them went more than that.
Ooh boy!
The owner won't start filleting them to eat. And these crappie was fighting like that gun full-grown 5-pound bass.
Well, it sounds like it.
Be all I've seen in my life.
It sounds like it.
No, Miss O'Neill, I never heard of a crappie that big before.
I haven't either.
But this ain't just one or two of them. I mean, we got a family of them out here, I think.
Well, you got the right balance. I'm going to have to go out of here for a break. Listen, thanks for calling, Ken. That's I appreciate you listening to the show and giving us a call this morning about your crappie fishing. I got to go right now, pal. You bet. You have a good one, all right? You bet. And stay in touch more often. Call more often. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. Woman Williams is with us now, and I hope you'll stick around, and we'll be back. This you're listening to WSB at least. You're listening to. Are we listening? Is this on SB also, Karen, and on television?
If we make it through
Okay.
December.
All right. Well, what you're listening to, O'Neill's favorite country song. It's by Merle Haggard, and it's If We Can Make It Through December. It tells a story, as usually country songs do. All right, welcome back, everyone. 57, almost 58 after the hour. And the telephone numbers, if you'd like to join us on the program and to be a part of it, is 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. I've got another question from the Southern Grind guest book, reminding you, go to o'neilloutside.com. You can take a look at all the oils there and buy one of them and give it a try. You'll be happy with it. And you can register your question at the Southern Grind guest book. So quickly, from Chase Jonas, I think I'm reading that right, or Chase Jones in Buford, Georgia. He wants to know whether or not the moon phase affects deer hunting. Moon phase affects everybody and everything, plants, everything. So it affects deer activity, but it doesn't affect the rut time. And let's see, what else did he have here? I can't. The wind plays a huge factor in fishing. How do you, in hunting and fishing, but in the case of fishing, how do you play the wind, O'Neill? The wind is at my back. I want the wind blowing against the shore. The whole activity is there. the waves break up the fish's view if he's shallow, and it brings all the bait fish, all the plankton, and the entire food chain on the windy bank, not the non-windy, not the lee shore. This is O'Neill, another hour of O'Neill Outside headed your way, and we'll reintroduce the program and do a lot of the same things, but we'll have fun because Woman Williams is here now. We'll be back. Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder Headquarters and the Bojangles Studio high on Sassafras Mountain. CDA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Good morning, boys and girls. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside from the Bojangles Studio high in the mountains of North Georgia. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. We're getting started here at 6 after the hour. This is O'Neill, and we've got a lot of things to do, and it's a full hour that is, of outdoors the second time around. Woman Williams is here this morning, and she has a special treat for us because she's going to have the lake temperatures, aren't you?
You say so.
Okay. All right, she's got the lake temperatures. You're listening to O'Neill Outside on WSB, covering 38 states on a Saturday morning, and the SB Nation radio network of 155 stations worldwide. So we invite you to watch the program and listen, and if you'd like to be involved, you may do so at 800 WSB Talk or 972-8255, or in the Atlanta area, 404-872-0750. It's my pleasure to self-promotion to invite you to watch O'Neill Outside on various network television program across the country. Go to visit O'Neill Outside at o'neilloutside.net or .com. You can learn all about the new line of O'Neill's Real Lubes and Gun Oils, and you can participate with the Southern Grind question and leave your question there, and let's see what else. Oh, you can visit or listen, that is, with O'Neill at the O'Neill Podcast at iTunes and the SoundCloud. And it's just stories that O'Neill tells. The best one, I think, being about breakfast, when I had breakfast in Montana. They didn't serve grits in Montana. They served potatoes. And quite frankly, I was disappointed. But they thought I talked funny anyway. All right, it's 34 after the hour. The 9-minute break is coming up. This is O'Neill, along now with Woman Williams. We'll have the Medal of Honor tribute and your calls when we get back. Well, welcome back, everyone. 12 after the hour, and we've got a lot of calls here. We want to get to every single one of them. First of all, let's go to Mac is calling, and we always have a great fishing report from Captain Mac. Welcome. Good. Are the crappie still deep out there in the lakes all over the South?
Yes, it is. It's still winter fishing, although we're definitely signs of they're pulling up. I haven't talked to anybody, and I haven't tried to catch any fish real shallow, but it probably won't be long. We'll start seeing some fish get in some shallower stuff. If nothing else, they'll pull up on the docks and the brush piles to get in shallower water. But yeah, it's still a dock shooting bite, deep stuff.
Okay.
Main lake or out on the creek channels, but that bite's been very good. So that's your struggle now. Everything's biting. So what are you going to fish for, right?
Yeah, everything's getting ready. They don't. It's something. It's funny, and I mentioned it ad nauseum. Even though the water temperature hasn't climbed much, or maybe not at all sometime, the increased number of hours of daylight affect the fish.
I think there's no question about it. And the days are much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, I think the weather we're having, all this rain and overcast cloud cover is more conducive to a good bite. And I think this type of weather will get fish in shallower water. So, yes, but you're right. When those days start getting longer, that's a trigger. That's a big one.
I'm really enjoying your Facebook page with all the photos and everything that you're putting on there. And, man, you're doubling up on those stripers on those umbrella rigs, aren't you?
Oh yeah, and people ask me about that all the time. The intent of the rig's not to catch two fish. The intent of the rig's to create the illusion of a school of bait coming through the water. But one of the very fortunate byproducts of that is sometimes you catch fish, sometimes you catch three, and that's pretty cool.
That's great. Well, let me ask you. Originally, wasn't the umbrella rig a saltwater primarily rig?
Yeah. When we started the tackle part of our business, we researched umbrellas, and we can trace them all the way back to the 50s, where they were made up in the eastern seaboard. Guys were using for stripers and bluefish offshore.
Okay.
And we just kind of took them and modified them and made it a little more applicable, made smaller basically, because some of the rigs they were using offshore were very big, heavy, physically larger in width, and some of them as big as 6 or 8 ounces, just the lead part in the middle. So we kind of took some of the bulk out of them and tried to make them applicable to inland waters and freshwater fishing, and still trying to do that.
Well, let me comment. That's another really good reason maybe to hire you or book you for a couple of days and be able to learn how to use that rig.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're very intimidating when you see them on the shelf. You see it in the package, or you just look at it's a physically big rig. It's got a lot of hardware, and they're really easy to use. But if you can get somebody to show you that learning curve, you can put you in the place where you're catching fish a whole lot quicker, and probably save you a lot of headaches, and probably save you a couple rigs.
There you are. Well, that's a good idea. So we've got a good report for fishing, and it's just going to get better.
I think so. I'm actually excited. If you look at the long-term forecast, O'Neill, although your rain suit looks like it's going to get a really good workout for the next 15 days or so, but we don't have any really cold weather. I expect water temperatures to continue to creep up. Some of that's that byproduct, longer day, more sunlight, or more I don't know about sunlight, but less dark in this case. But yeah, we're to the point where I think things are going to start happening quick. We're seeing fish, the stripers particularly, getting shallow. It's turned into more of a traditional winter bite, free lines, flat lines. So things are starting to happen. You're right. That process is only going to continue. So it's time, man. It's time.
Fantastic. How should people be in touch with you and your team of guides so that they can learn about the umbrella rig and catch some?
Umbrella rig and all things fishing, for that matter.
Yes.
You can find us online at Captain Max, CaptainMacs.com, and you can get an expanded report of the fishing report there as well.
Okay. Mighty fine, Mac. Glad you called. Have a great weekend, pal.
O'Neill, do the same. Everybody get out there, go fishing, be safe. And if you're by Bass Pro today, we'll be at the electronics counter with our friends at Humminbird. Stop by and say hello.
Okay. Good idea.
All right. Sounds good.
Catch you later, pal.
Thanks.
There you go. All right. Well, that's a good call from Mac. Let's speak now to Gene calling from Carrollton, Georgia, on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning.
Hey. I'm doing fine. You're going to have to speak right up now. I don't have a very good signal.
That better?
That's better, a little. Yeah.
All right. Well, we fish out here at Largemouth, West Point Lake, Valley, stuff like that. And we headed down next weekend. We're going south, and we need your advice where to go. We're looking for Florida Stream, Largemouth. We don't have a clue.
Gene, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm gonna have to ask you to call back when you have a better signal. I can't. Let's try one more time, but I can't understand you. I'm sorry. Give it a try now.
Better, O'Neill?
Hey, that's better. Yes.
Can you give us some advice where to go south? Florida Stream, Largemouth. We don't have a clue.
South Florida or North Florida or anywhere?
Well, we're up in Carrollton area. We fish West Point and Wedowee a lot, and we're tired of these little pound and a half spots, largemouth, whatever. So we just want to go a little bit further south, and we wanted to get your advice on where to go and what to do. We don't have a clue.
Okay, well, the first place that you might investigate the area would be around Tallahassee at Lake Jackson or Jackson Lake and Lake Talquin and the places in the, just east of what you might call the Panhandle. Those lakes are small. They're covered in weeds, and they got giant bass in them. Other than
what do
that,
we do different up here we do Carolina rig, maybe some Popeyes and stuff. What do we do down yonder that would be different?
Well, if you're looking for big fish, then the way for you to catch the biggest bass in the state of Florida and catch the Florida bass is for you to use live bait. Other than that, then use a big plastic worm. Something that will stay in the weeds. All you have to do is just
or something like that.
Pardon me, say again?
Go like Texas rig or something like that.
Yeah, Texas rig worm. Something now a Carolina rig is not going to work for you. But a Texas rig will.
Gotcha. Texas rig, stay in the weeds.
Yes.
Big worms. Gotcha.
And fish with the wind at your back.
Wind at the back.
Yeah,
okay.
the fish.
Gotcha.
The fish.
Have they started spawning down there yet?
They're close. Yeah, they'll spawn heavy late in February and early March. They'll be up shallow.
They should start coming on then.
Right, absolutely. The
Thank you, O'Neill. We listen to you every morning.
Good deal. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the question and give us a chance to talk about it. Now you owe me something. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
You need to call me back. Let me know about your trip.
Absolutely. I'll call you next Saturday after this Saturday. How about that?
Mighty fine. That works for me.
Thanks, O'Neill.
You bet. See you soon. There you go. Good luck to you, my friend. Let's see. It's 20, almost 22 after the hour. I'll wait for this next call. Have you got time, Woman Williams, to give us the lake temperatures?
Well, sure, I can.
Okay.
Lake temperatures are a little bit low, I guess, because we've had so much cold weather. So 50, 43, 67, 54, and 58.
It's a wide range of temperatures.
Yeah, it is.
But there they are.
There they are.
There's bound to be a lake somewhere with that temperature in it.
Yeah, I'm just not telling you where.
You're worthless.
I know it. I enjoy it, too.
Yeah, but you're fun.
Oh, I know.
You're fun. 404-872-0750-800, 972-8255. I don't have time for that right now.
That's too bad because, you're going to miss out.
Well, I promise I'll get to you when we return. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 25 after the hour, this is O'Neill Outside, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world. And the key is live. Most everything else is recorded. Let's chat now with T-Bone is calling on line number 2 on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, T-Bone.
Good morning, Mr. O'Neill. Top of the morning to you. How you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing fine. What's going on with you?
Good. Well, I heard you talking about this morning about the winds and blowing into the banks. And
yes.
Blows all the shad and the plankton in.
Mm-hmm.
I just got kind of a funny question I wanted to ask you that I've always heard. And the question is I've always heard that when the winds are coming out of the east, the fish bite least, and out of the west, they bite best.
Okay.
Now, how true is that?
That is true, because that is, here in the South, that is the prevailing wind direction. In other words, the fish are there most of the time. When the wind blows out of the east, it changes everything. So it disrupts the normal activity and normal position of where the fish are located.
Wow. Well, I was just wondering about that because I've always heard that.
Mm-hmm.
So when the wind's blowing out of the east, I don't need to fish.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say that if it's out of the east, when you go fishing, then it will be more difficult. But that's the reason why. You are correct. That and in different parts of the country, that rule may be different because the wind may be from the north prevailing. Right. Here in the southeast, it's almost always from the north and northwest.
Yes, sir.
So the fish are almost always there. They're used to it.
Yes, sir.
You know, the other thing that helps The other thing, and I alluded to it for a minute, but when you're fishing in these deep, huge reservoirs, and you've got bass or largemouth or spotted bass or even crappie on these deep brush piles and standing trees.
Yes, sir.
Here's a tip: keep the sun in your face.
Okay.
Because the shadow of the boat, if the sun is behind you, and you're casting that in the with the shadow, then your shadow affects the activity of the fish in the brush pile.
Yes, sir. I get that.
Now, see, I learned that from guides that I've been with.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that interesting that knowledge allows you to be a better fisherman, a better hunter, a better hiker, a better outdoorsman. The more you know, the better you can be.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Sounds wonderful, and I appreciate you answering my call and answering my question.
You bet. Glad you called, my good friend. Good luck to you.
Y'all have a blessed day, and thank you.
We will do that. Okay, 28 after the hour. Let's talk to Michael. I'll ring it up there correctly. Michael is calling from Cartersville, Georgia, on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning, O'Neill. It's a pleasure to talk.
Good deal. Speak right up now, because you barely can hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let me get. I've got a question about a fishing trip I have planned for me and my son.
Okay.
This spring, going to Canada.
Are you?
And,
when?
We going to fly into a lake. We're going to smallmouth fish. It's going to be our main quarry, and we're. I was wondering what I need to take. I got a limited amount of tackle I can take. My
Certainly.
uncle's been to this particular lake before, and he's took plastic worms mainly.
Okay.
Was wanting to know, do I need to take crankbaits? Do I need to take a lot of topwater plugs? It's going to be early spring. What's your suggestion?
Okay. And I have some, because I've been to Canada a little bit farther up than where you're going, evidently, because where I was, there were not any smallmouth. All right, here's some basic tips for you, because you're going to run into smallmouth and probably walleye, and you're going to catch northern pike also, aren't you?
Yeah, the muskie it's mainly lake trout, smallmouth, and muskie.
Okay.
In that lake, there's not as many walleye, and there's no northern pike there.
There are no northern pike?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
I was kind of shocked too. The lake is called Lake Tishkatina.
Okay. Here's some basic tips for you. Okay. The water is going to be super clear, so you should use light line. Number two, you should, on every bait, especially if it's for muskie or a walleye, then you should use a wire leader. Probably a 30-pound wire leader, because they're really toothy. Number three, I wouldn't use anything with a treble hook, because if you catch walleye or or muskie, you don't want to have to dig a treble hook out of his mouth. If you use the best bait I ever had for the easiest fishing in Canada is a Johnson spoon. Make it a gold Johnson spoon, because it has a single hook, and just use a rubber or a curly tail plastic trailer, because you can throw that right. The fish live in the weeds, and you can throw that right into the weeds, and it'll run right through there. Okay. As far as the smallmouth goes, the smallmouth bass is pretty dumb, okay? He's not nearly as wary or as difficult to catch as a spotted bass or a largemouth. He'll bite whatever you throw. But if you want to get him out of those weeds, use a plastic worm, a small one. And once he bites, he's not going to let it go. You got him.
Yes, sir.
So those are basic principles. Don't use anything with a treble hook.
Okay. That's great advice, and I really appreciate your time.
But be sure and take some pliers, because you're still going to have to dig hooks out of a toothy grin.
All right. Well, you have a great day.
All right. You let me know about your trip, will you?
Okay. It'll be late June. Thanks a lot.
Man, oh man, I wish I was going. That's fantastic. You won't catch but about 100 a day.
That's exactly what my uncle said. You could count on 75 to 100 small.
That's exactly right. What a great trip for a youngster.
Yes, sir.
Fabulous.
Yes,
I wish
sir.
I could. I wish I could go again. Good luck to you, Michael.
All right.
You bet. You bet. There you go. How about that? Going to Canada. Man, I'd love to do that again.
And you won't even get up there before you say, I can't wait to get home.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay.
Nah,
405.
That's not a bad thing.
No. All right. What did you have? You wanted to do, you had something. Woman Williams has something to bring to the program this morning, among other things.
I got this on an email the other day. I thought it was kind of funny.
Okay.
We have to be politically correct,
Oh, absolutely.
If there are blonde jokes, and I love blonde jokes. And,
yeah, I do too.
I'm blonde.
Yes.
And
I noticed.
Okay. And so we're going to have some blonde men jokes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. A blonde man is in the bathroom and his wife shouts, "Did you find the shampoo?" And he answers, "Yes, but I'm not sure what to do. It's for dry hair, and mine's already wet." A blonde man spies a letter lying on his doormat. On the envelope, it says, "Do not bend." So he spends the next 2 hours trying to figure out how to pick it up. So there you go. That'll do for today.
You want to...
What?
You want to tell the joke about the eye disease that we heard from Gary?
I don't know if we can tell that or not. It has a ugly word in it.
I'll tell it then.
Well, I mean, it gets you in trouble. It gets everybody in trouble if you use it. I'm not sure you can say that word.
Sure you can.
That.
Okay. Here's the joke.
Hey, Corey, get ready to dump him.
Get ready to dump me,
yeah.
Corey. Corey's the engineer at WSB. Karen and Brian Green are engineering in Peachtree City. So here's the joke. Guy calls into his boss one day. He's lazy. He calls into his boss and says, "I'm not coming into work today." Boss says, "Well, why? What's the matter? Are you sick?" He says, "I have anal glaucoma." He said, "Man, I never heard of that before. What is that?" Oh, I can't say the rest of the joke.
Hello?
I was just, never mind, everybody. Oh, okay. 35 after the hour. Let's get to something else.
I think,
quickly.
We could do it this way. The guy responds, he says, "I'm not coming in today because I can't see my A double scribble."
Okay. Coming
say
into
it
work.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we ruined it.
Yeah.
But
that's what
I
happens.
can't help it. I'm not very good at this. We've
Yeah.
only been doing it 27 years,
Yeah.
and when I get some experience, I'll be better at it.
20-something years. Yeah. Like
Oh,
29
Lord.
maybe.
Okay, here's another, have any, my screen's not working again, so do I have any calls, Corey?
Someone just called. Jason's on the line with them now.
Okay, we'll get to him in a minute. It's 36 after the hour. Here's another Southern Grind guest book entry. Somebody went to the website and Southern Grind guest book, and it's Barrett Smith. And Barrett, he's from Dover, Delaware, and he wants to know he wants to know about lubricating your reel. How often do you do that? My smart aleck answer is, Barrett, you can use too little oil, but you can't use too much. The key to the maintenance of a reel is how you clean it, not as much how you oil it. Technical Sergeant John Chapman, Afghanistan, 2002. John Chapman was attached to a Navy SEAL team. He's a SEAL. The team's helicopter was ambushed, causing a teammate to fall into an entrenched group of enemy. Sergeant Chapman and the team voluntarily reinserted into the snow-capped mountain, into the heart of a known enemy stronghold, to rescue one of their own. Without regard for his safety, Sergeant Chapman charged the enemy bunker and directly engaged the enemy. Upon reaching the bunker, Sergeant Chapman assaulted and cleared the position, killing all of the occupants. With complete disregard for his own life, Sergeant Chapman deliberately moved from cover only 12 yards from the enemy when he was struck and injured and mortally wounded. He continued to fight relentlessly, sustaining violent engagement with multiple enemy personnel before making that ultimate sacrifice. By his heroic actions and extraordinary valor, sacrificing his life for his teammates, Technical Sergeant Chapman upheld the highest traditions of military service and reflected great credit upon himself and the Navy SEAL team. 42 after the hour.
Had a hard time with that one, didn't you?
Yes.
I could tell.
Sometimes, like the movie we saw last night, Platoon.
Oh, boy.
You can't imagine
what they go through.
The heroism involved. So sometimes I have a tough time getting through that. 42 after the hour, 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Yes, ma'am. You have something?
Someone wants to know if you've ever fished Texas, and if you have not, would you recommend?
Texas?
Yeah.
Yes. It's summertime always in Texas, almost. I've fished from North Texas, Lake Texoma, all the way down through the Houston area and many lakes in Texas. And the fish grow big, and over the last dozen or so years, they have stocked many of what they call the Florida strain of largemouth and the tiger bass, the tiger strain, which was developed in Alabama by two fisheries biologists who went to Auburn. So when they came up with this fish, this new strain of largemouth, they called it the tiger bass. And it was a combination of a northern largemouth, male, and a southern female. And they combined those two, and it made for a fish that is much more aggressive and is bigger. So a lot of those are in Texas. One of the main lakes, well, Toledo Bend is between Louisiana and Texas, and Lake Fork. I think the Lake Fork record is something like 17 pounds. A lot of big fish in Texas. Quite frankly, I'd like to go back and visit some of the other lakes in Texas because of their names. I love the names in Texas. There's a lake called the Possum Kingdom. There's another lake called Elephant Butte. The people in Texas, I love Texans, and they have a great way of naming their lakes and their parks. So, yes, I fished Texas a lot and enjoyed it greatly. Any calls, Corey?
Yes, we have David on line 2 and Craig on line 3.
All right, let's go. Let's see if I can. Let's let you bring up line 2 for me, if you will. Did you say it was David?
Yes, sir.
All right, David is on O'Neill outside at 45 after the hour. Good morning, David. You on the line?
Yes, I am, sir.
All right,
good
good.
to talk to you again.
Good.
Hey, listen, I was just thinking one of the attributes of some of your oils that you're lubricating stuff for the reels and stuff is the fact that they displace water.
Yes, they do. They displace the water,
that's something you need to advertise that, because when it displaces the water, it cuts down on corrosion and makes the reel last longer.
You know, I was before I went to the last break, and see if you concur, now, and I appreciate your very honest opinion. You can use too little lubricant, but you can't use too much.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah. And
I was raised in Florida, and keeping your reels lubricated down there in that salt water is an absolute must.
Oh,
if you don't, they don't last.
Absolutely. And you know something? Real high-quality reels now, they are very expensive.
They are.
They need to last. And, you know, they're very expensive, but they're better than those old reels that we used to buy.
Oh, yeah, those old Mitchells and nasty things that we used to have.
Mitchell 300 and Mitchell 308.
Yeah.
Oh, man, those are throwaway reels now.
Yeah, they are. It had about a 1.2 to 1 gear ratio.
That's just reel like mad.
Yeah. Hey, and I was going to ask you, I'm thinking about going fishing up here in Notley on Monday.
Okay.
And I haven't been looking at anything, and I don't know what I need to do. I mean, I can striper fish, bass fish, crappie fish. I can do whatever I want to. And what would you suggest I do?
Fish
on
deep.
Monday?
Fish deep and slow with something small. Now, have you looked? I haven't, but have you looked lately at the Lake Notley water level?
Water level? Yeah, the water level it doesn't drop like it used to. They used to drop the water level down and not leak. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, like 25 to 30 feet.
Yeah, but now they only drop it down about 15 feet, 12 to 15 feet. So
the only other thing I would tell you is if you're going to go to Notley and this deep water doesn't work, then go up the river that feeds the lake.
There you go. Go up Notley River.
Yep, those fish in the river don't know that there's a lake down there below them.
And the water temperature basically stays the same.
So they will stay in the river year-round. They don't know there's a lake down there, okay?
Right.
A largemouth is not pelagic. He doesn't travel.
Right.
He or she stays in one general area their whole life. All they do is go up and down in the water column. They don't go up the river and down the river and so on, like a striper or a white bass or a walleye or something like that.
So you're thinking small jigs and maybe get up by the dam somewhere in the deeper water?
That's correct. That is correct.
And jig slow and on down as deep
That's
as
right.
I can get
Now, if you're going to be jigging now, just use a small one. Don't use a Sidewinder. Use a Hopkins.
Right. That Hopkins spoon that's a nice jigging spoon.
Yes, it is. I think when I used to tournament fish, and I've got time. When I used to tournament fish a lot, I'm too old. I don't do that now. It turned into a job. In the winter, that's all I used was a Hopkins spoon. Or remember the old Man's Salty Dog?
Oh yeah.
I used a salty dog. I fished a tournament one time at Lake Martin, and I was getting ready for a tournament. This was a long time ago, and I'm bragging now, but I was using a Sidewinder, and I couldn't catch any fish. I could see them, but I couldn't make them bite.
Right.
And the next morning, I went to breakfast over there in a little restaurant in Alabama, and I asked a bunch of guys at breakfast what was the trouble. I couldn't catch them, and they said, your spoon's too big.
Yeah.
So I changed to a Hopkins, and on that trip I used a tiny salty dog. And in 3 days of tournament fishing, I caught 270 largemouth.
Whew.
I won the tournament.
I bet you did.
You
had size, didn't you?
I could quite often. I would rig 6 rods with the salty dog, and I'd catch a fish. Wow. Just catch a fish, throw the rod and reel and the fish in the bottom of the boat, and then drop another one down. And a lot of times I would have 6 at a time in the boat.
Wow.
And it was purely because of the size of the bait only.
I was going to say, as far as size of bait goes, I mean, I've done a lot of fishing in saltwater too, and fish, catching dolphin, mahi-mahi,
right.
A lot of people call them now, but I always call them dolphin. Anyway, later in the day, the dolphin would come up under the boat, and lots of people would use a big lure, and those fish are almost full whenever they come up at that time of day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put on a really small piece of cut bait and put it out there, those fish would just destroy it. And so it was the size of the bait that made the difference.
Good tip. Excellent. That's a good tip. Yes, because
Right.
he's a mahi or a dorado. He's a very aggressive fish. If you'll
Yes,
give him a chance,
and
you can catch him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I love the fact that you hang one, you stick that thing in, you stick your rod in a rod holder, and you grab another rod and go to fishing, because every single one of those that's under the boat will hit.
Absolutely.
As long as you keep one in the water.
He's very aggressive. One of my favorite destinations over the years has been Crocodile Bay Lodge down in Costa Rica. And they have a lot of mahi. They call them dorado there. And
right.
In those waters, those fish gain a pound a month.
It's crazy how fast they grow.
Yes. A 6-pound dolphin is only 6 months old.
And they're a very renewable resource.
You betcha.
And they're absolutely delicious to eat,
Oh,
too.
man. It doesn't get much better. Hey, thanks for calling.
All right, O'Neill, you have a great day, and I'll be calling you back.
I hope so. I'll see you soon. I'll ask
All right,
you to
bye-bye.
I'll ask you to drop that, Corey, because I can't make my screen work. 52 after the hour. Have you got something on Facebook for me?
I don't.
No?
No.
You can watch us at
I don't think so.
o'neilloutside.com on
answered
Facebook.
everything.
Pardon me?
I think there was only actually one question,
Okay.
other than your favorite recipe on a big green egg, but
Gosh,
it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
hard.
That'd be
It's
tough
kind
to-
of hard to.
Yeah, because we cook
narrow that down.
cook on the egg so often. I don't know what I'd determine.
Steak.
Yeah, just a great big ribeye.
And the fun thing to do is cook pizza.
Mhm.
You know, homemade pizzas.
Pizza,
That's a lot
cake,
of fun.
pies, cobbler.
Mm-hmm.
They put everything on the egg.
Yeah, somebody at Christmas, someone in the neighborhood cooked us 2 pecan pies.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
And you could tell they had been cooked on the egg.
You sure could. It was good.
Yeah, oh man. Who is that guy? We need to call him.
Yeah. No,
God, get another one of those.
he just sent them by
Yeah.
someone else. So
Yeah, that
we
was
never actually
those
knew.
pecan pies on the big green egg. That was really something. All right, we've got Mike Hayes coming up here. The program is almost over, but Woman Williams has a conversation coming up with Mike Hayes. It's 43 after the hour, and I'll drop out of here, and we'll let Corey bring up.
Is it time?
It's 54 after the hour. It's time for Mike Hayes. Welcome back, everyone. We got a couple of calls we'll need to clear before the end of the program. First of all, let's go to let's visit with Craig, and calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Craig.
Which is the Black Hawk Down movie. If you ever saw it, that's him.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Yeah, he's 25 years and he just retired. But yeah, he said that would never happen again. Where a man on a boat was controlling what went on the ground. His colonel said it would never happen again. But anyway, I appreciate you doing that. He's home now and his farm in Warwick, Georgia.
Good, but he's still alive.
And I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for the compliment. It's my pleasure to do the Medal of Honor.
Well, it was great, and I enjoyed you and David talking about the real lube. Y'all carried me way back. What about the old Shimano Bantam 100? I still have mine.
No kidding. How about that?
It's silver, not black, but my real lube really tuned it up and made it. I brought it out and fished with it again, so I've been having it just put up for safekeep, but that stuff really is good stuff. But anyway, I know you got another guy trying to get in, O'Neill. We enjoy your show, brother.
All right. Thank you for calling, my good friend.
All right, bye.
You bet. There you go. We'll see you soon. Let's see if I can know how to drop that. There we go. Then there we go. And so. All right. It's 59 after the hour. Another O'Neill Outside 2-hour program is history. Woman Williams visited with us for a little over an hour. And thank you for getting up so early. making yourself so beautiful and coming down. You make the show a lot better.
Well, I appreciate that. I might come earlier next time.
Right. Okay. And Corey for engineering, and Jason for screening, Karen and Brian Green for operating everything for Facebook and the SB Nation. This is O'Neill, and keep this in mind. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a kid along this spring, you're too busy. We'll see you guys next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.